Welcome to the Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. Every week, we're going to bring you powerful stories and strategies from leaders who are making a real impact by building stronger, more resilient communities. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped with the tools to thrive in both your personal and professional life.
Hi, everybody. This is Beth Almaris with the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. We're a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to helping individuals and organizations build strength and resilience through skill-based education. So today I'm really excited to talk to my guest, Robert Hahn. Hey, Robert.
Hi, Beth. Good to be with you.
Robert's here with the Birmingham Green Senior Living Facility, and we're really excited to talk to him and get some insights and hear a little bit more about the work he's involved with. So, Robert, can you give me your elevator speech about Birmingham Green?
Sure. Birmingham Green is a nonprofit senior care and senior living facility for the term we use is affordable housing, but it's actually low-income, no-income senior citizens. We've been around for 97 years. I've been with them the whole time. Actually, I'm with Birmingham for only about a year. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer. But as I said, we provide some independent living, assisted living, and nursing home care to older seniors who just, for whatever reason, don't have a lot of means at the end of their life. They're good people. They play by all the rules. Just didn't end up with a whole pot of money. And our commitment is to provide really quality care for them as they enter this final season of life, so that they're not just being warehoused or they're not marginalized, but they're given the dignity that every human being deserves, particularly in their final years. So that's who we are essentially. We have 54 acres campus. We have a full capacity at about 300 senior citizens, residents we call them, and we're out in Manassas, Virginia, and that's pretty much who we are.
That's great. What an amazing mission. As Americans are living longer, we certainly need more facilities like Birmingham Green, for sure.
Yeah, well, actually, they call it the silver tsunami.
I like that.
Well, what you have is we have a dynamic that has never occurred before, frankly, in the history of the world, no less recent history. You have the baby boomer generation, this massive generation that is high in numbers and living longer. So housing for them is occurring, the need for housing, while at the same time, they're living longer. So Gen X is coming up right behind them. We're going to have two generations. Yes. And you're a sandwich generation. Mm-hmm. So eventually, because baby boomers people will be living into their hundreds, and it will not be that special in just a little bit of time. So you'll have some baby boomers, the Gen X, and then you'll have the millennials who will also reach senior citizen age. And we're going to have close to 90 to 100 million senior citizens in the United States alone in just a few years. Maybe in 10 years we'll have that.
Wow.
90 million.
Incredible.
And so there's just not enough housing.
Yeah.
And for those,
work it out for us.
For the people who don't have the funds, it's going to be a crisis. So we're working now to kind of solve that problem before it arrives, as it arrives, frankly.
Yeah. So you said you're the Chief Advancement Officer. That's a new title for me. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I'm leading the advance. What I do is Chief Advancement it's a term out there, and it incorporates two conjoined activities for an organization. One is what's known as development, or frankly just fundraising.
Right.
So
that I do all too well.
Fundraising is underneath me. So whether it's grants, whether it's sponsors, whether it's donors, corporate partners, and then there's community outreach.
Got it.
So, and they support each other. because if you're in the community, you're more likely to have donors and marketing and all that. So I lead our community outreach efforts, which is getting people involved, getting volunteers in, me going out and just being engaged with the community in general, and building up affection within the community for Birmingham Green. Because one of the things about a senior care living facility for seniors and low-income people is that we don't have a natural constituency. In other words, these are folks who, by definition, don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So their families don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So we don't have a natural pool from which to, frankly, to fish, right? To go fishing for sponsors and donors. So we have to go outside our constituents, our residents, to find funding, so that they're not just getting the minimum level of care, but our commitment is to provide them with as good a care as if you were retiring with millions.
Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. It's aspirational.
Of course. So tell me, let's talk a little bit more about the organization itself. How many employees do you have?
Because we're open 24/7, 365 days a year, right?
Yeah.
We have about 250 employees. That's, from the kitchen crew to the maintenance crew to the certified nurses assistants to the nurses to the director of nurses to admin to executive.
Sure.
In between.
Yeah. And what kind of, because you have a lot of caregivers on staff, what kind of wellness or health programs does the organization offer for staff?
You know what? We're very aggressive and progressive in that. We have, obviously, the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, which is really great because it's a high-stress job. And so people take advantage of that. And we're starting this year a very aggressive physical fitness program and as a benefit. So it's access to gyms, it's access to physical care, to dieting, it's access to smoking cessation programs, all types of things like that. So we're getting very much involved with people's emotional, mental, and physical condition for all of us. And we're just really, kudos to Alice Decker, who's the head of our human resources, and Denise Wright, who's our CEO. They're just visionaries on this.
Yeah.
And so it's, and there's just constant care going on.
Yeah. Well, I imagine there's a lot of compassion fatigue with your frontline staff, right?
Yeah. They call it caretaker fatigue and caregiver fatigue. It's energy out all the time, nonstop. And we consider all of us are caregivers.
Sure.
We're all part of the care program for the residents and for each other. We keep an eye out for each other. Who's getting burned out? Who's getting tired? Who's just not seem to be there at 100%.
Yeah. So what would you say right now is the biggest challenge in supporting the people that work with your organization?
The biggest challenge is on the level of care that you're talking about?
Or just, for what you see your staff really needing, what's the biggest challenge right now?
I think it's creating a culture of vulnerability.
Interesting.
Yeah, that trust issue where we can, where we can depend on each other and be open and say, you know what, I'm not doing well today. There's a tendency, I think, in our profession towards stoicism and, resiliency, and I can do this. And the people that we serve are so obviously needy that to say you have a need almost seems unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Too. And we see a lot. We all, one of the things I love, and this is going to be slightly off topic to zero in on your point. So one of the things I love about my job is that my office is right in the senior care facility. So I'm with the people I serve.
Yeah.
Know them, I meet their family, I play chess with some of them, we'll watch movies together when they have movie day, things like that. So we kind of live together for the hours that I'm there. But at the same time, we experience a lot of loss.
Yeah.
Because, it's the last stop for a lot of people. As that may be a little morbid, but it's the fact. There's ambulances that come on campus 3-4 times a day, and so you see a lot of pain. You see a lot of loss. Someone you're close to. I'll come in after the weekend to learn that someone has passed away, and so that never stops. It's a slow drip, drip, drip. I think all of us, especially coming out of COVID, which, nursing homes in particular really, really took a lot of hits.
Yeah.
There were obvious high impact area. And a lot of times we just don't pause to think about the workers and what the workers went through. So I think it's creating that safety area of trust where a person can say, yeah, I'm hurting. And it's not just trust, but it's also not feeling guilty about hurting.
Yeah.
So they're good on giving you time off and PTO and all kinds of stuff like that.
It's great.
They're good about it.
So where do you think the industry is going to go in the next 5 to 10 years? What do you see changing?
I think, well, first of all, it is probably the number one growth industry right now. People don't realize it because of what I talked about earlier about all these generations. I think we're going to see the Floridization of the whole country. The whole country is going to become like Florida.
I'm not touching that one, Robert.
Well, I was driving through Florida with a family member, and she looked at the window and she said, there's a lot of like senior citizen medical things, and medicines and doctor's offices and all that. And I said, well, gerontology. I said, well, there's a lot of old people in Florida. There's going to be a lot of old people everywhere. And I think we're just going to see that. And I think we're going to see the growth in that. I mean, even on television, look at all the pharmaceutical commercials that are on television. Well, they're doing that because the market's massive. And so I think we're just going to see that really blossom. We already have a doctor shortage. It takes 14 years to make a doctor. Okay, from the time they graduate high school, beginning pre-med until where it's 14 years. Well, we already don't have enough doctors in the pipeline. Even if you're wealthy, you're going to have trouble finding a doctor because there's going to only be so many of them. And, even if you're wealthy, you're going to have trouble with hospital care and medical care. So I think one of the things we're going to see is the explosion of that we're seeing now, where we're seeing physicians' assistants. Mm-hmm. You're going to see that grow and grow and grow. It's just the whole industry, the whole healthcare industry is going to explode. And if anyone's looking for a career, that's the one to get into, and not just on the medical side, but on the real estate.
Interesting.
If you're, there are companies, for instance, that specialize in building senior care living for well-to-do people. Well, they're trying to expand like crazy, but you know what they don't have? They don't have land. So it's just what we're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years is just going to be amazing, and we've never ever seen it before.
Yeah.
So, I would tell people, like, if you want to get into real estate sales, get into selling senior care living.
Well,
so, see what I mean? Like, it's all the different aspects. Medical care. I know I'm coming off, but I saw the other day this device. It looked like a microphone. You plug it into your computer, and they're diagnosing you now right through your computer. They're getting all your vitals. They're getting all kinds of things. They're cross-checking it with your files, with your medical files, online through the cloud. And what you're going to see happening in terms of technology and people not leaving their homes and getting more doctor service than ever before. It's the whole area is just it's explosive.
Yeah, which is going to speak to the need for more, broadband access and stuff for rural areas so people can access that and the technology.
Especially in rural areas. That's a great point. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just going to be left behind.
Yeah, we have our work cut out for us for sure. And hopefully that this movement towards that you were talking about, you're looking at emotional health and physical health and mental well-being. Hopefully all of that will play into it, and we'll move away from the straight up medical model for these folks in the future.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's going to be really interesting because, the two income family, which to us seems like it's been ingrained, but it's still relatively a new thing overall. It's what, 30 years old, 40 years old, that really, which is sort of new. But your generation and the generation following you, you're not going to be able to live with your kids because they're both going out to work. And those kids are not going to be able to bring mom in necessarily. And families are dispersed all over the country now. And so that loss of family community and community in general, we're going to have to learn to adjust to these things.
Yeah, and create new communities, chosen communities.
Well, we'll do something because the people aren't going away.
Yeah. Well, that was fascinating.
I hope so. Thank you.
No, truly.
I'm loving it. I don't have a career history in senior care. I come from hunger and poverty in Central America, and I jumped into this because I saw it's what was happening.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. Well, we're glad you're there. So what's the best way for folks, if they want to follow up, if they're interested in knowing more, what's the best way to contact you?
Email me. It's very simple. It's rhahn, R-H-A-H-N, rhahn at birminghamgreen.org.
That is easy.
I answer my emails.
Excellent. All right. And I just wanted to thank everybody so much. This was a really interesting conversation. I hope it gave you some great food for thought. So thanks for listening. Take care.
Thank you, Beth.
And thank you, Robert. You were awesome.
This is great.
Thank you for joining us today on our Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. We hope you've been inspired by today's stories and strategies for building stronger, more resilient communities. Remember, resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing through every challenge to become bigger and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who could benefit from these insights. Stay connected, stay resilient, and we'll see you next time.